Hello and welcome to Planet Smasher HQ. I'm Mike Hutchinson, designer of Gaslands, A Billion Suns, and Hobgoblin Brutal Fantasy Battles. It's the start of the year, and I want to tell you what the plan is at Planet Smasher for 2025. Stick around and I'll fill you in. Hello there, Happy New Year! Welcome back to Planet Smasher HQ. I want to spend a couple minutes in this video telling you what my plans are for 2025. So if you were following along with last year's Trials and Tribulations, you'll know that at the start of 2024, I quit my career as a software product manager working in various tech startups, and I had ended up at Epic Games through an acquisition of one of my companies, working at the heart of Fortnite, which was an extremely exciting and interesting job. But I burned out pretty hard in 2023, took a considerable amount of time to recover, and in that chaos made the decision to quit my job and go full-time on miniature games design. That was a decision that came with a timer. I had saved up a little bit of money, enough to take me through into 2025, but not enough to take me through 2025. So that's where we find ourselves. 2024 was an awesome year of experimentation. I experimented with YouTube, trying different schedules and different formats. I experimented with lots of different game ideas, making tons of prototypes. I experimented with how I might get those games out. I started releasing things to itch as inexpensive early access PDFs. And then at the end of the year, I experimented with making physical zines. I had a couple of failed experiments. I tried to launch a store, a web store on my website, but realized all the things that I didn't know and had to abandon that idea. And in general, I guess I did a lot of things in a lot of different directions. I also spoke to a lot of publishers and got a lot of conversations going, and in a couple of cases got some projects either signed or nearly signed. And what all of that means is that I'm feeling very excited and confident about the kind of pipeline of games that I've got, particularly those that are with publishers. But a lot of those games that I've got with publishers are a little bit far out. They will be a couple of years to write and then deliver and then make any impact on my bank account, which is a problem because the savings are going to run out soon. So 2025, I am essentially taking the watchword here is going to be focus. Last year, the watchword was experimentation, and I did a ton of things scattered across a load of different areas, but I didn't really knuckle down and focus on any specific project. There were a couple of moments where I needed to really zoom in on something and work for an extended amount of time, but that wasn't the norm. I was just trying to see what this new venture was going to look like. So what am I going to be doing in 2025? Well, I'm starting this year with 3 key focuses. Number 1 is I want to get Space Gits into a physical format using Kickstarter to fund a beautiful print run of that game. I'm really excited about that game. I think the core mechanics are both novel and intuitive, and I think that the game has tons of scope for all kinds of hilarious fun. And as I've been working on it to develop the game into the final format, I'm finding all kinds of exciting ways that I want the game to expand, like the kind of content that I want, the kind of additional rules and scenarios and campaign rules and stuff. So I'm really excited about Space Gits. It feels like maybe not a spiritual successor to Gaslands, but like it's got a lot of the same energy that my first work on Gaslands had, and so I'm really excited about that. I'm also experimenting this week with vehicle rules for Space Gits, which makes it a little bit more specifically a spiritual successor to Gaslands. And I am going to be sharing more and more stuff around Space Gits because I am shooting towards a Kickstarter probably in March. There is a couple of reasons why that might get delayed, but I've put a Kickstarter pre-launch page up, so you can click the link in the description below to go over to the Kickstarter page. And if you could click the notify me on launch button, that'd be grand. I'm reliably informed that having many people click that button is super important, so thanks in advance. So Space Gits is really benefiting from some incredible collaborations that I have lucked my way into. The first one being Till Forster, who is the illustrator. Till sent me some ideas for some Gaslands, like full colour templates and car dashboards a year and a bit ago. He was really just fishing for work, but he'd done this incredible stuff, and I was super excited and interested. And so he's working on some illustrations. In particular, we're working on the cover art at the moment, and I'm really excited about the way the cover illustration looks. It's fantastic. The second collaboration is with Cromlech. Again, they reached out to me on a sort of tentative basis. I bounced back a question about whether I could use their miniatures in Space Gits, and that kind of blossomed into a much more collaborative relationship where they have started to design some specific components and responding to some of my ideas about what components might be really interesting to have in their range that would kind of fit the Space Gits aesthetic. And the idea here is that I'm coming up with some faction ideas, the aesthetics of which can be built from like pieces of their range. And so we're assembling pieces of their range into little packs that will be included in the Kickstarter, hopefully. So you'll be able to buy the Space Gits rulebook plus 1 or 2 or 3 gangs which fit into the factions of the world, which is fantastic. And I haven't seen the final designs for it yet, but they are working on an exclusive miniature for the campaign as well, which is phenomenal. So if all goes to plan, then there will be an exclusive orc that is kind of designed to be inside the Space Gits universe, and he'll be available as part of the campaign. So this is amazing. It's transforming into something really fantastic that this collaboration with Cromlech is just hugely valuable to the project. The third collaboration that I have lucked my way into is Tyler Russo, who's here on YouTube as Billion Dollar Clown Farm, and you can find him on Instagram as well. He dropped by one of my videos here on this channel to say hi. And I was already a massive fan of his channel because it's just exactly my kind of madness. And he'd been doing some awesome videos on painting orcs, and yeah, just generally I loved his energy. So I reached out, and I knew that he did or had done in the past painting commissions. So I asked if he was interested in doing some painting for Space Gits. And that has blossomed into a really exciting conversation where not only is he going to be doing the painting, but he's also interested in doing the kit bashing, which means he'll be able to influence the factions and the look of the factions inside the game, which means that his art can influence what's going to go on in the game. He's also interested in taking the photographs for the game, which is awesome for a few reasons, not least because it turns out that Tyler has a background in like visual art and visual special effects and stuff. So I suspect the photos that he creates with the paint jobs that he paints and the fact that he can do like matte painting for the backgrounds and stuff, I suspect the photographs are going to be like insanely higher quality than I could make, which is really exciting because if there are richly coloured photographs, that means I can combine those with the illustrations that Till is doing. And I don't know, the inside of the book potentially could be a lot richer and more delightful and more highly designed than I was expecting. So that's cool. And I think that also means that for Space Gits, I am going to be concentrating on making the rules something that is, you know, that are briefly worded, and that I am going to allow myself to not fill every page with words, but take more of a kind of Forbidden Psalms, Morkborg approach, where I let the photography and the illustrations and the text kind of play a little bit more equal weighting, because the game is intended not to be very mechanically complicated, and a lot of the silliness and complications of Space Gits come because of the dexterity mechanics. But you'll see if you head on over to planetsmashergames.itch.io and download the Space Gits early access rulebook, you'll see that their rules are quite they're quite brief, and I think I want to keep them that way. And as I'm working on the factions for the game, those are also going to be very brief. It's essentially one special rule for each faction. And yeah, so I'm really excited about Space Kits. That's going to be a key focus for me right now as I get to the Kickstarter, hopefully in March. So the main thing that risks my March launch of Space Kits on Kickstarter is the idea that I might do another Kickstarter quickly before that. As you might know if you're following along with the channel, I recently finished my first role-playing game, The Crawling Chaos, and produced it as a zine. I got it printed locally here in Canterbury and took it to Dragonmeet. Zine Quest is coming up in February on Kickstarter, and so I figured, given the zine is already made and I can get it produced extremely quickly with like a 1 or 2 day turnaround here in Canterbury, it's possible that I could run a Zine Quest Kickstarter for Crawling Chaos and sort of squeeze it out before the Space Kits one. The reason I'm suddenly confident about this is that I have set up a relationship with Games Quest as a fulfillment partner for the Space Kits Kickstarter. And now that I've got those guys online, sending them a box of Crawling Chaos zines with a list of backers to send them to seems super doable. And it means that I can just have one quick go on running a Kickstarter campaign before this Space Kits one and learn a few things and make a few mistakes. And that seems like a really cool idea. Plus, I might be able to make a little bit of money. And also, the reaction to Crawling Chaos was really strong at Dragonmeet, and so I guess I want a little bit more public visibility of that game because I think that it's doing something interesting and novel, and I would like to kind of capture some of that space in the public domain, and I think a Zine Quest is a decent way of raising the profile of that game. So there's a bit of a risk in doing that because right now this has been my first Kickstarter campaign, and I need to clear the pipes of fully fulfilling that Kickstarter campaign before I run the Space Kits one. Again, I think it's going to be pretty simple because once the campaign closes, it will be just a couple days to get the zines printed and sent over to Games Quest, and it won't take them very long to turn it around in their warehouse, and then it's just waiting for the postage to happen. No doubt I will discover that there's backers that don't provide their details and that drags things on or something, but that's the risk I'm taking in order to have both a little bit of extra money and a little bit of extra learning and a little bit of extra promotion of my games. So the third benefit of having Games Quest as my fulfillment partner is that I can suddenly reconsider direct sales. So the idea of opening up a web store so I can sell my zines and all of my games that I have made but from different publishers and allow you to buy them all in one place is suddenly possible, because the reason that I said that my experiment with setting up a web store last year was a failure was that there were too many uncertainties for me around VAT collection and distribution, international shipping, customs, all this good stuff. With Games Quest as a partner, I can relax on a number of those things, and so over the next kind of month, I'll be setting up the WooCommerce plugin on planetsmashergames.com and getting a proper web store set up there. There are some hairy bits around that, and you know what? I might end up choosing a slightly different route and using a GameFound store as the way that you check out, because that way GameFound are dealing with the personal data and all that good stuff. So still some things to experiment with and some things to learn, but the ultimate point being that I can make games like zines locally or buy in stock from Electi or Offspray, put it all in one store and actually give you guys access to all of my games in one place, particularly the exclusive stuff like the zines. So that's really exciting, and that is going to be another focus alongside Space Kits, because that could genuinely be transformational in terms of like the money coming in month by month. So I want to get that set up, and I want to see how meaningful and significant that is as a revenue source. So Space Kits, direct sales. The third focus for 2025 is A Billion Suns, second edition. It is about 6 months until I need to hand that manuscript in, so I need to get motoring on it. I've got some strong ideas about what that new edition is going to look like, what changes I'm going to make, what things I'm going to keep, what things I'm going to add. And I'm excited to get down to that. It isn't going to make any money right now, so I need to focus on Space Gits, but I also want to get it into open beta as early as I can so they can get some eyeballs on the changes that I'm making. Yes, I won't talk in too much detail about my plans for A Billion Suns 2nd edition. I will do a more detailed deep dive video on that as I am working on it. Yeah, so the things that you can do for me if you're interested in seeing more videos like this and more games like the ones what I am making is you can head on down into the video description and you can click on over to Kickstarter and click the little notification button on both Space Gits and the Crawling Chaos if you're interested in either or both. And you can head on over to my Patreon. Patreon is hugely important to me as I continue this journey as an independent game maker. And so if you are interested in seeing more games from me, then consider swinging on by patreon.com/planetsmashergames and subscribing to drop a little gas in the tank each month. It's hugely appreciated. Right, enough of this rambling update. I've got work to do. I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye!